The Dynasty. The Dynasty. The Dynasty.
I forgot.
The Dynasty. The Dynasty. The Dynasty. The Dynasty.
All right, y'all. I do apologize about that. I'm over here trying to fix something. You know how that goes. All right. Please turn time out, because I don't even know who you are. Removing all of these. I don't like these bots, man. There we go. All right, y'all. How y'all doing, man? Hey world, what's good? It's your boy LG. I'm back with another video. I appreciate y'all being patient with your boy. And there we go. Got that out the way. All right. I don't know what happened, y'all. It be like that sometimes. Y'all know how that goes. I was trying to record this video, and for whatever reason, my camera kept freezing. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it live. Why not? All right. So we finally got one. We finally got a video where we and Gothix, we disagree, y'all. All right. I don't know who you are, Buckaroo, but yeah. There we go. There we go. All those are hidden. There we go. All of that's going to have to be removed. I don't play that. You're not doing these bots today. Not today, Satan. But yeah, today's video is going to be a good one today. And yeah, today's video is going to be a good one. And I just wanted to do this. This is a video on Gothix is talking about why normalizing sex work is a terrible idea. And I I actually got the chance. I was following Gothix. I've been following her for a while on her locals, and if you guys want some good content, you know, free thinking content, definitely recommend y'all go check out Gothix and her locals. And if I have the link in the description below, and I will make sure to do it after the fact as well if it's not there. All right, but this is what we're going to be reacting to a little bit. I'm not going to play the entire video because I want y'all to see her video and her stuff as well. I'm going to try to cut a bit of it, somewhat, kinda. But I did watch it, so I'm gonna let y'all know that now. I watched it, and I'm gonna watch it again with y'all, and we're gonna talk about it. All right, so let me see. All right, so let's read this right quick. We're gonna read this. So we're gonna read this, and it says, normalizing sex work is a terrible idea. What up, Loki? How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in. Normalizing sex work is a terrible idea. All right, I'll never disrespect someone for choosing to enter the adult industry of their own accord, but also I won't sit quiet as these same people try to normalize their own decisions. Normalizing sex work, in quotations, is an absolute statement that has long-term consequences for society as a whole. The more sex work is normalized, the more prevalent it will be in society, and the more accessible it will be for kids. This type of work directly conflicts with women who don't want to be perceived as objects, as well as the wokies who push for more representation. As with most leftist ideas, it is contradictory and regressive. If someone makes the choice to enter this line of work, they should also be prepared for the side eyes and snarky comments that come with it. Okay. Now, I'm going to disagree with some of this, right? I disagree with some of this. For those who don't know, and it's evident on my page, I do advocate for the normalization of sex work, right? But there's a big asterisk here. It's not in the way that you think, and we'll go into that in a minute, right? You know what I'm saying? There's a reason for this. There's a reason why I say normalizing sex work, because, and we're going to talk a little bit of the video points here. Let me go ahead and get the video set up, and we're going to watch this. Right? No, and this is the beautiful part. Here's the crazy thing. Like, I don't disagree with her at all. Like, I'm one of those people, like, how do I put this? I actually enjoy Gothix's work. And this is the beautiful part about content creation, or people in general. You're not going to always agree on everything. You feel me? Okay, I worked in the industry. So for those that don't know, I worked as a strip club DJ for a little bit prior to COVID. All right, and I can tell you that really it's not as bad as what people make it out to be. And majority of people that have this ideal that sex work, normalizing sex work is a bad idea, are normally people that don't work in the industry, right? Or normally the people that don't work in it at all. And no disrespect, like I said, what I say is of no disrespect to Gothix at all. You know, I don't want anybody to think that at all. It's no disrespect. I actually enjoy her work. But I notice a lot of people that make this statement are on the outside looking in. You feel me? And at one point I had some thoughts about this, because like I said, I grew up in church, and I thought about some things like that. Yeah, and I agree, she is definitely level-headed. Like, she's definitely level-headed. I agree with that. But this is one of the things where I don't agree. Like, I fundamentally disagree, right? Like I said, sex work should be normalized, but there's an asterisk to that, and we'll come to that in a minute. So let's start a little bit of this video, and we're gonna go into it. Right, here we go. Also, I gotta make this clear: please do not attack Gothix for opinions. This is not to attack anybody. This is just for fair use and all that. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know. I just had to make sure I put that out there, because somebody may look at this and be like, "Oh my God, we got somebody that disagrees with Gothix. Oh, they're on our side." No, bitch, I'm not. Chill the fuck out. I had to make that clear. Here we go.
When you record a video and realize you were muted the entire time. Gonna be one of those days.
Oh, boy.
All right. Woo! Today I want to talk about, for the second time, normalizing sex work and why that is an absolutely terrible idea. And anyone that recommends that is an idiot.
I'm an idiot, y'all. I'm an idiot. No. I'm an idiot. Oh, no, I'm joking. Like I said, I'm joking. It's all jokes. Let's go.
First of all, whenever I hear someone normalizing sex work, they're always glamorizing it. They never talk about the consequences of it, which I think is the most important thing. That's called informed consent. So today I'm going to talk about it, and I just want to be very clear because I get so annoyed looking in the comment section talking about stop telling us what to do, as if I'm gonna reach through the screen and force you not to do something. You're your own person. Do whatever you want, boo-boo. I am here to advocate against this idea that we should be normalizing it. It's either normal or it's not. And if you're comfortable engaging in this lifestyle, you also have to be willing and comfortable with the fact that not everyone is going to view it as normal.
And I mean, that's totally understandable. That's one thing that I've been saying. For anybody that's followed me for any length of time, I've said this on several occasions, really. That sex work isn't just something that's just should be glamorized. It's like, and that's the problem, right? So when she's thinking normalization, she's thinking the leftists, what lefties do, right? What leftists do, they tend to do when they talk about normalization, they tend to gloss over, right? They tend to gloss over the bad bits and they want to magnify the good bits, right? So when I'm saying normalizing sex work, I'm talking about full-on education here. I'm talking about getting people to understand making better informed decisions using the good, the bad, and the ugly, and putting it all together to give you a uniform decision, right? That's where I believe what I mean by normalization of sex work. That's what I mean. So when I'm saying this should be normalized, it should be taught that yes, it exists. Because right now, the biggest problem is that people are stigmatizing it and treating sex workers like second-class citizens. You know what I'm saying? And treating them as criminals and treating them as treating the women as property just because they decide to monetize off their sexuality, right? They get treated as property or as a problem, right? So that is the issue that I'm having with this. We need to normalize it in the sense of it needs to be properly educated. That is, yes, it is perfectly okay to have sexual desires. There are things out there that people that use their sexual desires and monetize that. That's perfectly fine. Now, I will say that it's not for everybody. Okay? It's not. I've been saying it. Okay? But let's get into it. We're going to keep it going. All right?
I don't think people understand that's an absolute statement, because when you normalize something, it means that it's going to be more prevalent in society, which is why I, for example, can't use Twitter out in public anymore. Now, Twitter is a cesspool. Social media apps in general are terrible. But there was a time where I could go to the post office and scroll on my timeline without fearing I'll be met with some booty cheeks in my face.
Okay, all right. So let me stop right there, right? So using that argument, and this is the part of the disagreement that I have here, right? So with social media, you have an ability to filter out what you don't want to see. You feel me? And this goes for any part of social media, y'all. So that goes for YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that, right? So this is a twofold thing. All right. You have the ability to filter out what you don't want to see. So if you don't feel comfortable seeing booty cheeks on your timeline, you can filter that out, right? For example, if y'all follow me on Twitter, right? You follow me on Twitter and you see that I like something because likes show up in the feed, right? And you see that you like something that makes you feel uncomfortable. You have an option to delete that, right? So let's go on Twitter for a minute. I'm just gonna go on Twitter and I'm going to find something. Here, and this is perfect. I'm gonna use this for example. This is perfect, right? So let's switch screens here. If, say for example, like this right here, somebody like this, two people that I follow like this picture of Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, right? Now I like the picture, it's actually pretty dope. But if I didn't want to see this, I can hit the more option. I could say not interested in this tweet, right? So let's just find something that I, for example, don't want to be interested in. Let's look. Right? So let's just say I hit this, right? I'm not interested in this, for example. Of course, I'm gonna undo this, but you can show fewer tweets from the individual, show fewer likes from the person that liked it, and this tweet isn't recent or this tweet isn't relevant, right? I'm undoing that because shout out to Taser, right? So with that being said, you can literally filter out what you don't want to see. And you have to be repeated in this, right? And I have a couple of accounts, right? So I have a main brand account that I've moved over and I don't use for that. You know what I'm saying? I have another account that's backed up that's more open to sex work. I have my brand account, which is one of my other brands for Dynasty Dimes, that specifically deals with that, and that's all I'm going to see for the most part, right? So it's really about control for yourself. We're talking about over the age limit, right? We're talking if you're over 18, right, or of a certain age, right?
The minimum age requirement for these platforms are usually 13 and up. So think about that for a second. If you're normalizing adult work, you're normalizing adult content or sex work, that also means that little Timmy, who's just trying to hang out on social media, is now going to be looking at your booty.
But then also too, here's the other thing, little Timmy may also be looking for that stuff too, because how many times have we seen the kids get on these tablets in search history? You understand what I'm telling you? All right. So that's also up to the parents to kind of control their children a little bit. You feel me? The parents gotta. This is a job that requires everyone. Okay, it requires the parents to do their job and monitor what their kids look at. Okay. It's also up to the creators and the people of these platforms' job to monitor what they do and who they interact with. Okay, now granted, you're not going to be perfect all the time, but it does make things a lot easier. For example, once again, my Dynasty Dimes is 18 and up. My Discord server has a NSFW section, but that's only available for people that's over the age of 18. If 18 and up. If you are under 18, you're not getting into that server no matter how hard you try, or that portion of the server. I don't care how mature you are, I don't care how cool you are, you're not getting into that part of the server. Okay, I've had people get look at me like I'm crazy because I asked them, I said, are you of age? Are you of before you get into the server that's in my server right now? They looked at me like I was crazy because I'm not playing that. I don't play that. I don't do that. All right.
And that's a problem. When I usually say that, I get the response, oh, well, it is a parent's responsibility to watch their child and ensure that they shouldn't be consuming this type of content.
Which is true.
That is true. When I have kids, my kid is not going to be, I'm not going to leave him with the tablet. And in fact, he's not going to have a phone. No, honey. My future child, whoever your name will be, yeah, no, you're going to go outside. You're going to be barefoot running in the grass, all right? No.
I mean, you can't do that nowadays, to be fair. Nowadays, you're going to have to make sure you have a phone, but make sure they monitor it. But I feel it, though. I understand. Trust me, I get you got this. I feel it. I know. It's crazy out here in these streets. I know.
We're not doing that. But if it's a parent's responsibility to shield their child from certain content online, that means that parents should also be allowed to shield their child from transgenderism and gender identity that's currently being injected in schools. By the way,
but that has little to do with sex work, though. That's the only thing that, like, I was watching this earlier. She has a point, but like that has little to do with sex work at this point.
If you have kids, you need to figure out what they're teaching your child right now. It's happening.
Just give a kid a flip phone to call it a day. Hey, I heard the flip phones are making a comeback. That's what I heard.
This is what I get so annoyed with, is a lot of people that are woke or promote this nonsense, is that on the one hand, they'll say, it's your responsibility to make sure your kid doesn't see my booty cheeks on the timeline. But then they'll have something negative to say about a parent wanting to shield their kid from transgenderism ideology or gender identity ideology.
That part, okay, so when she says it like that, that part makes sense. I can understand where she's coming from with that. Yeah. Once again, she's looking at the leftists. How when leftists say normalization, that's what they talk about. Like, they talk about it from they're talking about, it's more of a sinister thing with like a lot of left-leaning people are doing. And I kind of wanted to go into this point later, but fuck it, I have to go to it now. Like, a lot of leftist people, when they're talking about normalizing stuff, it's, oh, we want to skip over the bad bits. We want to skip over the the things that could make you not want to do it, and we just want to show you the glory, the big stuff. We want to show a girl dancing and making it rain, and the girls finessing men out their money. Like, they want to show that part. They don't tell the full story, and that is the part where I say the normalization needs to come in and needs to be readjusted. It needs to be readjusted as learning. This is the things that you need to, if you want to go that route, this is what you need to expect. This is what needs to happen. You feel me?
Stop it. As a black woman, I often hear people talk about lack of representation.
But yeah, child exploitation is basically the end result of too much sexualizing society. Degenerate behavior results in degenerate society. That's if it's not controlled. That is the problem. The reason why degenerates run free is because, one, the main thing is it's being looked at as degenerate. It's being looked at and stigmatized as degenerate. Now, when I'm thinking degenerate, and this is just my personal opinion here, when I'm thinking degenerates, I'm thinking of legitimate people who are legitimate predators. Like, we're talking people that actually target children, right? Because if you go into any sex work now, like actual sex workers, the ones that actually do this, if they ever find out that they're dealing with a child, they block and report so fast, because they don't want to be dealt with that. Like, that's not what their MO is. And I've worked with, I'm telling you, it's like working side by side with these people. Like, they're people just like the rest of us. And this is the issue that I'm finding with society, is like that everybody, oh, because a girl wants to do sex work, she's an automatic degenerate. That's not true at all. When I'm thinking degenerates, I'm thinking child predators. I'm thinking, and this goes for both men and women. I'm talking to men that target little girls and also little boys. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking of the girls that that use this, especially some of these left-leaning girls that try to do sex work and are targeting these men. That's wrong too. Because let's just be real. Having sexual desires, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That is something that we need to, that's the part that needs to be normalized. Normalizing sexual desires, like being aware that sexual desires are a thing. Some have them more than others, right? There's nothing wrong with seeing a woman and being sexually aroused, especially if she's doing things that get that type of attention. Okay, if a woman's posting a thirst trap, that is the point. She's trying to get your attention, right? She's generating sexual attention. That's just point blank, period. It's not that hard to get, right? But no, like I said, it's something that I do understand. Like, I understand that, you know, you don't want your child to be exploited. This is why you have the education. This is why, as a parent, you should educate your kids. You know what I'm saying? And this is, I think, the reason why we're going through a lot of this shit is because we have a lot of uneducated parents too. And this is this rampant degeneracy that's going on is a lot of uneducated parents. Because honestly, a parent has to be educated in a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to be like a PhD in all things. I'm saying you have to at least be aware of certain things that are out there. A lot of psychological things. Now, you have to. So that way you know what's good for your child. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm ever gonna say. So let's keep it pushing.
In the Black community. And what they mean by that is, due to the environment that these young kids are in, these young Black boys and girls, they grow up thinking that they'll only be able to be a rapper, a basketball player, or if they take a wrong turn in life, maybe a gangbanger. So when people say normalize sex work, are you not thinking about the lack of representation? Do you want sex work to be at the forefront of what these kids see?
No, that's definitely not it.
Because that's what's gonna happen.
That's only if the only way that's going to happen, right? The only way that's going to happen is if people are not properly educated and they're letting, once again, the leftist idea of normalization happen, right? Which is target everybody. Everybody just got to be okay with it, or you know what I'm saying? And we're going to target little kids. Like, no, that part, no. You feel me?
The other thing that people don't consider when they say normalize sex work is I think it's the most obvious, is the regret. When you work in sex work,
that the only regret is from people that don't make a lot of money. Let's just be honest here. Or that don't have the proper, once again, proper teaching or how to do it.
Okay, this is gonna sound really bad, but boo-boo, you got a shelf life. At some point when you start drooping, you may end up wanting to find a real job. And what happens when your past keeps following you and prevents you from getting a real job? Or what?
But that, once again, that goes into the stigmatization of sex work. The reason why a lot of this is happening, a lot of the past following you, and you can't get a good job because of what you did in the past, is because of, you know, the stigmatization. A lot of people, it's like an unwritten rule, when it comes down to sex work, it becomes just as bad as somebody who has become a felon, right? And that is the part that I'm not okay with. Just because somebody decides to go into sex work, or a woman decides to do sex work, she is not a felon for it. Okay, unless she has been convicted of wrongdoing, she's not a felon. Period. Right? And the reason why this stuff follows her, or she will be demonized for it, is because of the stigmatization that happens. Right? And that is the problem right now in our society, because it's polarizing. You feel me? It's the polarizing thing. It's either we do it all the way or it's completely shut down. You understand what I'm telling you? So there's a lack of balance or a lack of proper knowledge in situations like this, right? It's a lack of proper knowledge. This is what's causing the stigmas. This is what's causing the demonizing. This is what's causing the degenerates, because you're villainizing people that don't need to be villainized. You get what I'm saying? You're villainizing people, a group of people that have made a decision to do this. Now, for the most part, it's a valid decision. Now, there's some people that have felt like they've had nothing to do, or that's their only choice, or whatever. We're not going to go into that because that's a whole conversation within itself. But society in general, let's just be honest here. Society in general has demonized sex workers, and it's prevalent when you see shit like this today. Like, look at how this is why you have a lot of polarizing shit happening right now, if that makes sense. Misplaced, thank you for coming by. Yeah, you caught me live red-handed. Caught me red-handed. All right, so let's keep pushing.
What happens when you decide to have kids, or your current kids go to school and their friends are talking about your OnlyFans or your booty shaking videos online? Like, what? Sign up for it. But that is something that people don't think about, is how your actions normalizing sex work is going to eventually affect that child's life. And if we just consider what I said earlier about lack of representation, out of sight, out of mind, how do you know that isn't going to eventually encourage that kid to pursue that down the line? Like that, you have to consider stuff like this.
See, how do I put this? A lot of people use this kid argument, like, what think of the children, right? And I hate this argument because it's really... it's something to think about, but then again, it shouldn't affect the child. Like, kids are going to talk regardless, right? People are going to talk regardless, right? But this also goes back to what I was saying about how it's taught in the home, right? Because it's demonized. If it's demonized in the house, and you got people that are demonizing in the house, and the kids hear about this, so this is how you get the kids to start picking on that one child that, you know, whose parent is doing OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is, a lot of parents don't tell their kids what they're doing until late, you know, or if at all, which is another issue, you know. And I just don't like that kid. I don't know how else to word it, but I don't like that kid argument. It's something that to be fair, it makes me feel slightly uncomfortable, because to me, I feel like it's reaching. You know, what about the children? Well, it doesn't stop kids from, it doesn't stop anything. You know, think of the children, Joe said, F them kids. I don't think, I don't know how else to put that. Like, I really don't know what else to say to that. And if you properly teach your child and they decide to go down that route, then that's their decision. If not, if they decide to go the other way, then whatever. But at the end of the day, if you do this and you hide the information from your child, or if they find out the extra, they found out from outside, then that's not your child's fault. If they have a homie that so happens to be curious and goes online and happens to see your mother doing that thing, it's really, that's one of those reaching things. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a bit of a reach to me. And if I'm wrong, if I'm wrong about it, I might be wrong about that. I'll take it if I'm wrong, but I just feel like that argument in itself is kind of a bit of a reach. A lot of people don't think of the children when it comes down to violence But when it comes down to sexual, sex stuff, it's all of a sudden, cover your eyes. Cover your eyes, That's just my personal opinion. Doing their thing. Yes, I am. Welcome, Gothix. I hope you're doing well. So we just breaking shit down.
And again, you're your own person.
That's
Do
true.
whatever you want.
That's true.
Make your own choices. But I'm not going to pretend that there aren't actual consequences that affect the rest of society. Another thing that I noticed when I first started streaming on Twitch was a lot of the young female content creators, I'm talking young, like between the ages of 18 and 24,
Right.
a lot of them had OnlyFans accounts. It got to the point where
That's true.
I would say maybe 80% of the female content creators that I would click on and I would go to their channels all had OnlyFans accounts. It was like you see a female, you can bet
assume
that she
she's-
probably is selling nudes somewhere.
Okay, so let me stop there. Wait, brakes. Let's pump the brakes, right? Okay, this goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? The lack of proper education. This is why I say normalizing is a good idea, not in the way you think, but in proper education, right? Okay, so yes, it is true. You see a lot of girls right now doing OnlyFans, but that's because they think, and it's been told to them that they'll make money, right? It's been told to them that you can do all of this. I'm making millions of dollars from dudes online, right? There's a stigma that's being placed on this. So this is why you see a lot of girls just jumping into it and doing it without proper guidance. Okay. And what I mean by proper guidance, I'm talking about people that actually have been in this shit. Okay. And I'm talking people that are just, like I said, I've done this shit. And I'm telling you, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's literally just an everyday thing, right? It's just that we got too many people that are, one, trying to glorify this thing, and two, trying to stigmatize it. So you have this big weird ass balance that we need to really sit down and address, if that makes sense. You feel me? So the reason why you see a lot of girls doing this, right, is because of the improper teaching. They're getting with their homegirls, or they're getting with some random girl that's making the money, and they think in their mind that it's going to happen for them too, which may be the case. Maybe. But what a lot of these people leave out is the weirdos, right? The requests that you may get, right? And a lot of these girls that do OnlyFans, a lot of them don't even do nudes. Let's make that clear. A lot of these girls, they don't do nudes. They don't. Right? They're not gonna do it. Right? They don't. A lot of these girls, they don't. Okay? Yeah, normalizing is that's why I said normalizing. I would say normalize, but it's more of proper education, right? Because when Gothix says normalize, we're thinking leftist here. You feel me? She's thinking leftist. When leftists say normalize, they're talking about, over glamorizing, oversimplifying, and they're like, okay, this everybody needs to be doing this. This is something that everyone can do, right? This is something that everyone can do, which that is not true at all. Not true. Anybody that does sex work will tell you that's not true. Okay? So let's break this down, right? Sex work is visual. Okay? So for anybody that's going into sex work, I've talked about this before, right? Sex work is visual. If you're not conventionally attractive, or you don't have a nice body, especially if that's what you're flaunting, yeah, you're not getting it. You're gonna get less money than somebody that. Let's just be honest here. What's a lie misplaced? What did I say that's a lie? What's a lie? Please tell me. Let me know. Right? So with sex work, like I said, sex work is not for everybody, right? First of all, if you are unattractive or not as attractive, you're going to have a harder time, right? So you're going to have to work on personality. You're going to have to work on making men feel more comfortable with you because they're not necessarily looking at you like that, right? Okay. Now, if we're talking in terms of strip clubs, for example, you can't be lazy in that bitch, right? Everyone can do it is a lie. Yeah, that is a lie. Everyone can't do it. Everyone can't do it. Okay. There's so much things that go into it. So much. Right? That's what you mean. No, I got you. I just wanted to know. I was just asking. I just wanted to know. Right? You know. What up, y'all? And I just wanted to say what up to everybody for coming in. I appreciate it. Yeah, my issue is that you have weirdos like Amaranth going around making it glorious and empowering. Yeah, exactly. That is an issue. And I will definitely agree with you. Right? I agree that it's not always as glamorous as people make it out to be. And people don't understand the work that you have to do to get to that point too, right? So the other issue with this is I can't tell you, like when I used to work in the strip clubs, right? And I would go into the shift and I would have, dancers come in. I used to hate it when there were some girls that would get drunk, right? Or get buzzed just to do it because, well, one, that's what they thought. In order for them to perform, they had to get, basically get drunk to do it, or to deal with certain types of customers. They had to get drunk, right? Or they had to be intoxicated or whatever, right? Which leads into another issue. If you don't make your boundaries clear, you're going to end up going down a spiral of addiction. You know what I'm saying? Like alcoholism, drugs. That's because people think that's what you need to do in order to tone out. That's one thing I don't agree with. And that goes for anybody that does sex work. If you do this and you feel like you got to get drunk to do your job properly, that's where we fundamentally clash. I fundamentally clash with that. Period. Because if you got to do all of that, then you might as well stay your ass at home or find something else to do. Okay? It'll make you feel good in the short run. Like I said, and this is what I'm saying, the glorification is the problem, right? The education, we need to get back to education. Okay? Education. The reason why a lot of these younger girls have it is because, like I said, they're not getting proper education. I try to reach out to some of these girls and try to help them out. I try. I do. Lord knows I do. But because I'm a man, they feel like I don't know what I'm talking about. Which is another issue, this anti-male rhetoric. That's the other reason why that's one thing I preach about almost all the time. This anti-male rhetoric is really what's killing a lot of sex workers. A lot of people will be more okay with it if this blatant anti-male shit wasn't a problem. I'm telling you that. I believe that. Like I said, it's proper miseducation, and also just a lot of people not believing that, believing the good and the bad and ugly, right? And a lot of these girls too, while I'm thinking about it, a lot of these girls don't make their shit clear either on what they will and won't do, right? Because you can have an OnlyFans and you don't have to sell any nudes, right? If you don't feel comfortable as a sex worker doing that, if you don't feel comfortable as a sex worker or as an OnlyFans selling nudes, you don't have to do that. Okay, there's different niches. As with anything else, there's different niche. There's different compartments you can do this. You know what I'm saying? Just as there are different types of models, there's different types of niches, right? You know what I'm saying? In sex work. Okay. Some people have feet fetishes. Some people have hand fetishes. Some people have whatever weird fetishes you can think of that I'm not going to name on here because I'm not trying to get my channel taken down. But who it's what you will if you do decide to do this. What are you going to put up with? Right? What are your boundaries? What are your limits? Right? I sell pictures of my feet and toenail clippings. Hey, you know what? And if somebody out there will buy it, okay? Shagsworth, somebody will buy that shit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody will buy it. I believe it. I believe somebody will buy that shit. Let me help you with that, bro. Oh Lord. Oh no. Especially if it's before 5. Oh no, Headshot Master's about to buy Shagsworth's feet pics. Yeah, YouTube not playing. Yeah, that's true. I know that's right. But oh, that's funny. I need more guy OnlyFans. Hey, there's some guys out there who do it. There's some guys out there who do it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's women out there who take advantage of, you know, of males' attention spans. It is what it is. Just be careful that, you know, there's some guys out there that's gonna do it. But let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
When I see people in that age bracket creating that type of content, I assume that they're being enticed by how easy it is to make that much money. And unfortunately, when you're that young, you're not thinking about how is this going to play out later on in life? How is this going to play out when I'm older? What is this going to look like when I try to get into a committed relationship? How is this going to look like when I have kids? But they're not thinking about this type of stuff. And it's bothersome because their age bracket, as young as they are, tells me that younger people are being exposed to this type of stuff. And a lot of these young people that get into it thinking, I'm going to get rich, this is going to be great, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Boo boo, when you start drooping, you're going to have to find another job. Well,
to be honest, you know what? Actually, there is a market for MILFs, actually, to be honest with you. If people want a dab, but don't kill it, right? No, Headshot Master, let me make it clear. No, not all guys on OnlyFans are gay. No. It's just, like I said, it's not, like I said, what we're fundamentally taught is it's not the same for us. You know, we don't get that same kind of, you know, acceptance, you know. But that's actually a really good question, though. A lot of people, that is a lot of people would assume that, though. Shagsworth out here advertising for his OnlyFans, the dad bod. Hey, you got the beard for it, man. The beard and the dad bod, go for it, bro. You know, get that Maybelline. All you gotta do is get that Maybelline in your head. You good, man.
most people do.
But yeah, but like when it comes down to like MILFs and stuff, like there's some people that are cool with MILFs, yo. Like Costello said, if your girl is on OnlyFans, your kid has already taken L at birth because a man you see your girl's flower box for the same price as Netflix. Oh man, honestly, like I said, that's the assumption, right? A lot of people assume that you're doing completely naked pictures. It's not always the case. You know, that's not always true. You know, that is true, and it's dad bod season. I feel it. I feel that, but you know, I get it. Like I said, it's that balance between. So let's keep it going.
But you might regret it, and I think it is unethical for people to be saying normalize sex work without totally telling you what the consequences of doing that is. But here's the other thing, is when you say normalize sex work, you're also promoting at the same time sexual promiscuity. And when you promote sexual promiscuity, it devalues your body. A lot of problems in culture can be completely avoided if people learn how to respect their bodies more. Abortions is probably the first thing that comes to mind, and I already made a video on this, but by and large, the majority of women that get abortions are women that just give it away. Then we
Yeah, that's partially true. I mean, honestly, once again, that goes back to what I'm saying is, that goes back to what I've been saying is like, you have to make sure it's like, we need to normalize what needs to normalize. It needs to be understood and accepted that having sexual desires is normal, right? That's the problem in our society right now, right? Is having sexual desires is looked at still to this day is not normal, especially for men. Okay, especially for men. Men cannot say, "Oh man, she's hot," right? Like it's still a problem, especially, and I'm speaking from a male's point of view, because the only way it's perfectly fine is if we're spending, like, we're in these type of, you know, environments, like, you know what I'm saying? I might be wrong for saying it like that. I might not be, because it's like I'm trying to formulate the point and I can see it in my head, but you know, sometimes my brain and my mouth don't want to work together. You feel me? Like, I don't believe it's necessarily devaluing yourself. It's because there's nothing wrong if that's what you are. Like, if you enjoy flirting to that extent, you know, it's something that should be told that people are, there's some people out there, like if I have children, right? I want to make sure I tell my child that, hey, look, that there are some people out there who are really comfortable with their body. You know what I'm saying? There are some people out there who are really comfortable with sharing how they feel or being open about their sexuality, and that is perfectly okay. Now, one, it doesn't mean just because they're open with their sexuality, it doesn't mean that they're going to be open with you. That doesn't mean they're going to want to do anything with you per se. It just means that they're comfortable talking about stuff like this. And if you're not comfortable talking about stuff like this, then that means either you have to work on that or you step away from that. But just because you're uncomfortable, it doesn't mean the rest of the world has to be uncomfortable with it. You feel me? If that makes sense. So once again, you know, a lot of the leftist people, when they think of normalizing, they're talking about glorification. They're talking about oversimplification and overlooking the bad things that can come with this, and or other stigmas that come with this. And they're just skipping over that part and saying, don't worry about that. That's just haters. You know what I'm saying? When a lot of it is stigmatizing, you know what I'm saying, that needs to be dropped. A lot of that's what's killing a lot of it right now. Is a lot of people are equating, like I mentioned before, a lot of people are acclimating sex workers with felons. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, she did sex work before. She can never get a real job because she worked at a strip club, but she's not doing that now. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's the part that I don't like, and that's the part that I don't get. You know, Peanut, welcome. I'm going to read your comment here. It says, I don't think sex work is wrong personally, but if normalizing means teaching about it in school, I'm against normalizing. I'm fine with it being part of society, not hitting away or something, though. Okay, that part. What I mean by normalizing, I mean proper education. And I mean not talking about it in schools, right? Not the children, right? Not the children in schools. But I will say, like, in colleges, right? Like, in college, or yeah, I'll say I would regulate it. If it is in school, I'll say college, because that's where you get majority of grown folks. College. I would say like seniors of high school, but that's too close to dealing with you know, kids that are not seniors. So I don't want to, you know, run the risk of kids sneaking in to that. No. But like college courses or outside of school, you know what I'm saying? And definitely parents should be teaching that. Yeah, college is in at home and society, right? That's the problem. That is the biggest problem. It's not being taught in society. Exactly. Yeah, because if you don't hear it at home, or if you don't explain it right at home, or if you don't get the proper people that's going to teach it, you're going to have a problem, right? You're going to get the glorification. You're going to get the all of that, right? I think honestly parents should be talking about it anyway, because you're going to see it, and you're seeing it in music videos anyway, right? And you're going to see it in music videos, you're going to see it in just in everyday life, that, oh, I really like this one girl artist, you know, all of that, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with that, if that makes sense to y'all. If y'all got any questions, y'all let me know. If y'all don't understand something, please type it. I will gladly explain to the best of my little ability. So let's keep it going.
We have to think about the people that are always complaining that they can't find an appropriate partner. And I mean, if you're always giving your body away to the internet or to whoever, you're going to have more problems with that, because at the same time of normalizing sex work, you're also desensitizing the value of your body. And this conflicts with women that don't want to be perceived as objects. You can't have both. When you normalize sex work, you're also treating women like objects, or you're treating whoever is doing the sex work as objects.
I was about to say, what? Hello? What? I was about to say, I'm glad God just cleaned that up. Okay, you was in Gothix stream for the premiere. She's got to ask me anything in 30 minutes. Hey, nice.
Which do you want? Do you want your body to be respected, or do you just want to normalize sex work? You have to pick one. Another thing.
But see, that's the thing. Like, that's weird. Like, okay, I'm gonna let that one rock for now. Let me read the comments here. Let me read it, because Peanut's got us some good ones, right? And Loki. So let me read Loki's first. Sex education when I was a kid was learning about the male and female reproductive stuff, but today's sex education is basically degenerate indoctrination through glorification. Yeah, that's what I don't agree with, the glorification part, right? Reproductive stuff, yes. And then also what parents need to do, this is where I'm gonna add with that. Parents need to teach that it is okay to have sexual desires. Like, it is normal to have sexual desires, but what is the issue is what you do with it, right? It's okay to have like little, have little crushes. If you have a crush on somebody, or you like somebody, or you find somebody sexually attractive, or you find, something on them attractive, right? You feel me? All right. But it's a difference when you become that degenerate to where you literally sit up here and treat that person as an object, or you sit up here and make that other person feel uncomfortable with it. You feel me? Like, it's a difference when you find somebody attractive and you're basically hounding them. You feel me? Like, say for example, I'm just gonna use, because Gothix is married, y'all. So if I had an attraction to Gothix, it's one thing to be attracted to Gothix, but it's another thing to make Gothix feel uncomfortable, and to every time Gothix shows up, I'm there, or every time Gothix shows up, I'm doing degenerate shit. Like, I'm like making her feel uncomfortable. I'm ignoring the fact that, she's got a relationship going on, you know what I'm saying? Or, infiltrating, I'm basically ignoring her personal life because I'm so caught up in my own feelings for Gothix. That is a difference, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, degenerate. People that full on simp, okay? People that full on simp. And that's the part that I don't get with, if that makes sense. And that's something that needs to be taught, that that's not okay. Okay? Keep your emotions in check. There's nothing wrong with having those emotions. There's nothing wrong with expressing those emotions, but knowing when to keep those in check is the key, right? I guess there's a difference between normalize and encourage. I'm mostly against encouraging sex work. Shit like drag queen, child drag kings. Yes, I agree. See that part. Child drag queens, child children strippers. You know what I'm saying? I can't get with that. I can't get with it. You feel me? I don't get with that. Like, that's a no-go. Right? Period. I can't. That's no. It's a whole nother level for society. Yeah, I agree with that.
Thing is, when you're consuming this type.
Okay. Yeah, partners. She was talking about partners too. Now, that's also another issue. Once again, I'll probably make another video about that. That's actually something that if you do get involved with sex work, that's actually a drawback. You feel me? There's some people out there who are not comfortable with that, or don't want their significant other doing it, or don't even want that. That doesn't even want that in their partner at all, like, period. And to those that don't want it at all, like, you have a right to not want it at all. But I'm gonna tell you like this. Here's the thing, right? A lot, especially when it comes to men, a lot of men don't want their partner to be born. Okay, let's just be honest here. The reason why this is so wildly attractive is because it plays on a fantasy, right? And there's a lot of men that, especially married men, that go towards this, right? Now, don't get me, we're not talking about those that are okay with it. Okay, that's another conversation, right? There's people that go out there, men that go out there against their, they know it's against their wife's wishes. Why? Because they do it anyway, because, oh, well, my partner's not giving me what I want, right? And a lot of men want that stripper type image, but then they want it only for them. They want their wife to do that, right? So it becomes a paradox, if you will, right? It's not a crazy request, right? It's not. It's definitely a respectful request, right? So a lot of it's one of those things where you have to balance it. So if you don't want your partner, right? To me, I found it weird because there's a lot of guys that say, oh, I don't want my partner to do OnlyFans, but then you are turning around and supporting women who do that type of stuff, or you're basically you're liking every girl that's half naked on Instagram. You're going out, but you don't want your partner to do it, but you're over here liking that. You're sending mixed signals here. You know what I'm saying? You're sending mixed signals. So which one is it? You can't be sitting up here liking all of that shit and then getting mad when you come across a woman you want to take her out the game. Especially if that's how you met her. Okay? I've seen a lot of men try to do that shit. Take these girls out the game. Try to get with a stripper, try to give her money, and I got you. Try to take her out the game, and try to lead with their money, money foot forward, their financial foot forward, and try to, yeah, I got you. You don't have to do this anymore. You don't have to. And then get mad, if they're single women, that's fine. Yeah, I agree. It's not taking the girl. No, it never was. That's not what I'm saying, Shags. That's not what I'm saying, Shagsworth. I'm talking someone who's habitually liking other women's pictures and of that type, but then you don't want your significant other to do that. Like, it becomes a bit of a conundrum, just a bit. That's the way I see it. Just saying, there's nothing wrong with finding a woman attractive. Nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong. I just feel like we just need to be properly educated. And this is something I've been saying for years, y'all. This isn't just because Gothix. Like, Gothix will tell you, we've had disagreements on this shit. Like, we've had disagreements. Like, I literally think that education, proper education, is really what's killing us right now. That's literally what's killing us. The lack of proper education. Right? Proper education.
Type of content, you start building a false perspective of what intimacy is, and you go into a relationship thinking that whatever you see online is what it is, and it's just, it corrodes your ability to connect with people by consuming things that are artificial.
Yeah, that's only for those who can't separate fiction from reality, though. You're assuming that there's a lot of people that can't separate fiction from reality, Gothix. Which, I mean, let's just be fair here. There's a lot of people that do that. I don't think everybody, like I said, once again, it goes back into what I was saying with proper education, though. Like, people need to realize, okay, this is fiction, or this is simply entertainment. Real life. You know, I get that art imitates life sometimes, you know what I'm saying, but that's not always the case.
That actually reminds me of a video compilation I saw where a bunch of young kids were playing the intro for videos that are found on a certain website that rhymes with Cornhub. And so these kids were in school or at church at like their band practice, and they would play the intro for this song as sort of a prank to see who else in the room would recognize the sound. And in all of the videos, the other kids would be applauding and shouting, which means that they already have access to adult websites.
Which goes back into the problem with parenting.
So when you say normalize sex work, that is moving it closer into the field of vision for younger kids that haven't discovered those adult sites yet. Like I mentioned with my Twitter account earlier. And this is what...
Right. So once again, that goes into, like I mentioned before, parenting, proper, and also proper age gating too, for the sites, for the sites and for the people involved. Okay. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of issues here also, like whether it affects the ability to pair bond. Yeah, true. Oop, I hit my mic, my bad. Yeah, for me, it's different. Been married almost 10 years. Congratulations, by the way, on 10 years. And I think a lot of it is just being open with your wife, etc., and wanting to try new things. I'll never get sick of that. You know what? That's beautiful. That right there, that's beautiful, bro. Like, and that's what I'm getting at. Is the ability to be open, right? Being open, honest communication, right? And being also compromising, right? And not just on the men's side. Once again, that's another video for another day. But the compromise has to be on both ends, right? Everybody has to be able to be open with each other and be able to talk about, you know, what this is what I'm into. This is what I like. You know, are you willing to try this thing with me? You know what I'm saying? And it's either yes, no, maybe, whatever, try, or whatever it is. And that's respectable. And that's something that's honestly become a rare trait. You feel me? That's the problem. And it shouldn't be rare to have open and honest communication with somebody, especially when it comes down to something like this. You understand? Let's keep it going. We're almost done here, y'all. We almost done.
What annoys me about people that want to normalize sex work, when they say that, they're doing it just for themselves, or they're doing it to make someone else feel good about the decisions they make. And finally, I'll say as a believer in Christ that it is a sin. But of course, if I led with something biblical, people wouldn't listen to me. So instead, I provided you with practical reasons as to why normalizing sex work is a bad idea. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if I shouted a little bit. When you record an entire video muted, you get a little annoyed. So
All right, yo, that's it for Gothix video. I thought there was a little bit more to it, but I'm gonna disagree here. Like, the only thing that makes it a sin really is the sin part is when you start lusting, like excess, right? When you start overstepping, right? When you start overstepping the boundaries. And this is why I stopped, when it comes down to church, because a lot of people that know me knew I grew up in church, right? And I grew up in Church of God in Christ, right? At one point, and actually gradually went to non-denominational. They were really big on that. A lot of people were, well, going to the clubs is a sin. Sexual attraction is a sin. All that type of shit. Like having that sexual attraction. And this is why I go back to saying what I say, that it should be told, like, it needs to be retaught, right? It needs to be retaught that having sexual attractions, there's nothing wrong with that. Being noticing somebody's, having sexual desires is not a problem. It's a natural part of life. However, when you do degenerate things, such as and trying to force it onto children, that's where the problem is. The degenerate behavior becomes when you start targeting children with this and trying to pitch it as the next best thing. That's where we have a problem, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? And yes, Ogre, you're right. Attraction isn't a sin. Acting on it outside of marriage is technically the sin. And the problem is, a lot of people, and that was the other thing about churches too that I didn't like, is they would sit up here and preach so much about a sin on other people, but then they would turn around and do the exact same thing and try to normalize it and say, oh, it's okay for me. Basically, essentially the religious version of rules for thee, not for me. And that's the biggest thing that I don't agree with. What's the purpose of consuming adult content if you're not lusting? Entertainment. LG, you confused me. See, thank you. At least somebody said I confused them somewhere. That's the point. God damn it. I don't want to hear something on Twitter talking about, LG, you confused me. I don't like this. LG, this, that, the third. Hey, Gothix, guess what? We gonna have a certain somebody may see this and be like, oh my God, the Gothix Defense Force is falling apart. But like I said, I'm doing this like off the top. So I personally, like I said, I don't see an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you. Like, a lot of people want to put it as, well, they're wrong. What kind of entertainment, giggity? Yeah. I think all lust is a sin. From being raised Catholic, anyhow, it seems that from a Christian perspective, you always have to be against sex work based on the sin of lust. See, but there's a difference between Catholic and Christian, too. Catholicism and Christianity are two different things. Two different, they're fundamentally different. That's another video. Nope, can't do that here. Not doing it here. I'm able to have a disagreement. Yeah, no, and that's fine. I was just making a joke of a particular individual. We're not gonna name any names because we don't give them clout. I'm not, we're not doing that yet. Not until I'm able to monetize my haters, and then I'm gonna do that all day. But no, I don't. I personally don't have an issue with it. Because a lot of people want to blame the sex worker themselves, and it's like they have a right to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Now, whether you partake or not, that's up to you. It's there. You know what I'm saying? That's like being allergic to peanuts and, making everybody making the whole world ban peanut butter. I'm not allergic to peanut butter. Why the fuck would, why the fuck do I got to stop eating peanut butter because you don't like it or you're allergic? I mean, I'm sorry. I'll be sure to not, eat peanut butter around you. But that's as far as that goes. Which point is dwelling on it. Interesting. That Jody stream, oh Lord. But you have your own journey. Yeah. Indeed. And like that's the difference here. Like I said, I have nothing but respect for Gothix, like at all. Like no hate, no malice. But you know, like I said, it's normal to disagree, right? I don't know why people have this idea that because you're cool with somebody, you have to agree on everything. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. Another problem in our society is that, oh, you're cool with Gothix, you agree with everything. No, we don't. This is one of the things I disagree with. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've worked in the industry out of my own volition. I have a homeboy right now that he brought me into the clubs, like to show me that's how that's where he used to work. And to this day, he beats himself up about it. Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Nah, bro, I don't do that. Right? So, like, I have a homeboy that, and I'm gonna get to your comment in a minute, Loki. I see you. I have a homeboy to this day that beats himself up because he thinks that he's responsible for me going down the path that I went because he showed me, you know, strip clubs and stuff. Like, he showed me what it's like at a strip club. And, you know, he was like basically he thinks he's responsible to this day. And I'm like, no. You know, you basically show me what it was like. I already had an interest. Let me make this clear. I had an interest. I was just on that verge of like, I didn't know what to do to go in. And I'm like, I was just nervous about going in. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what to do. Like, I really didn't know. And I didn't know what to do. So I just like left it alone. It was one of those, I always was curious about what it was. So my homeboy took, me in. He's like, he saw that I was curious and he said, look, let's go. So what he would do, like, that's what he did. And eventually that's how I ended up deciding to work in the strip clubs. You know, I made that decision and I keep having to tell him this. I'm like, bro, now he wants to get back in church. He's like, he wants to be go back in church. And I'm like, I don't want to go back because for my own reasons, which I'll talk about later, in probably another video, maybe. But I made the decision to work there. That was my decision. You know what I'm saying? That was my decision to do. It's not his fault. It was not his, that's me taking accountability. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm taking accountability for the fact that I was curious enough. Yes, you may have influenced the choice, but bottom line, I'm doing it. I did it because I wanted to. I enjoy it. And like I said, if I had the money to go, I'd go. It's actually not bad. Like I said, I know what I want to do and I know what I want to deal with and I know who not to deal with. That's on me. That's my decision. And for anybody, and I want to spread that type of information to you guys to say, if that is your choice, if you were already, thinking about it, I tell you to go ahead and do it. This is what part of the reason why I made the Strip Club Chronicles was to educate people in a way that's practical. You know what I'm saying? To educate people, not only just the customers, but also those that wanted to get involved with sex work. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So that's my thing, and a lot of people need to understand that like the education is important, right? So Loki says one does not have to be a prude, yet one does not have to be a slut as well. There's a middle ground that goes for men and women. That's true. That is true. My channel is all videos of me handy feeding wild chipmunks with peanuts. Hey, nothing peanut butter form related. Nice. I didn't get the whole dry beard. Yeah, I don't get that either. Make sure you guys hydrate your fat asses. That's all I'm saying. Nervous drink salute. That that recent music group is hot. What do you mean? What you talking about? Misplaced. But yeah, that was my thing. That's what I wanted to share with y'all. Like I said, I once again I have no problem with the, you know, when I say normalized sex work, I say proper education. You know, it's not for everybody. It's not something that everybody should be getting into. No, it's not. I'll tell you that right now, because there's so many people that aren't going to be able to. Oh, the strip club mix. Yeah. Saggy, how you doing, girl? Welcome. You know. Interesting. That's an interesting point. Interesting. That's an interesting. I've never heard of it like that. Entertainment. Interesting. And for all y'all, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. For those that like to target kids, and you know all that shit, I ain't with it. And guess what I'm gonna tell you? In the words of Eric July, they're doing crack. Exactly how I feel about that shit. You know what I'm saying? You can try it if you want. I don't like calling it education. I don't want schools teaching it. I call it education because it's life. You that's what you learn in life. It's not something that you would, you know, that's semantics at this point. You know, I don't want schools teaching it, like high schools teaching it. You shouldn't be teaching that. You know, college, maybe. College is a better option. In-house education, yes. Parents, y'all should. I don't know why parents aren't teaching their kids about stuff like this, because it needs to be addressed. And this is part of the reason why we have this problem. Part of the reason, I think. I know I'm splitting hairs. No, you're good. I get you. I understand. Like I said, I understand the concern, right? I understand the concern, right? And especially for those that are conservative or Christian, I understand the concern, right? But this is where I say it's up to the point of the parents, if you have children, or if you are, even if you don't have children, but if you're in a position to where you're teaching kids, you need to be sure to let them, make sure you do the job. Make sure you do the job to properly educate, or to properly make aware of what's going on, good and bad. You feel me? Or Anna Chris. Yeah, parents should teach their kids beforehand, or mentors as well. If you're a mentor, if you're a father figure, if somebody doesn't have kids, because there's situations like that now. If you're a father figure, make sure you take the time to properly teach or to properly educate of what's going on. That's all I'm gonna say, right? Because I get it. You learn it from other people. It's gonna be oh well, it's good. They're giving you the positives. They're not giving you the, you know, the negatives on it. You know what I'm saying? So you can make an informed decision. He was 6 and his girlfriend was older. Oh no. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope y'all enjoy yourself. I appreciate the compliments. I appreciate y'all, or comments. Damn, I can't talk today. I appreciate y'all coming in, talking to me. I appreciate y'all. Gothix, great video. It's always a pleasure. Keep up the good work. Misplaced, Transcom Supremacy. I just realized who that was. Thank you. I appreciate you coming by. Ogre, Peanut, Shagsworth. Who else? Loki. Headshot Master. Who else I miss? Zendetta, thank you for being here. Headshot. Who else? Joe. Aki. Appreciate all y'all. Thank y'all. Yeah. Exactly. Keep your expectations low. Make sure you just be smart about it, right? Headshot. Yeah, I called you out. Headshot. You know what I'm saying? We working on the monetization. I want to get y'all involved, man. We're gonna do some more stuff like this. If y'all can, check out the strip club mix. I did do a strip club mix. That was fun. I had fun doing that. But I appreciate y'all. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. I do music, do gaming, you know, real talks like this. If you guys got something y'all want to talk about, I'll do my best to look into it and we get into it, all right? But that's gonna be it for me. I'll catch you on the next time. Peace and God bless.
The Dynasty. The Dynasty.